800.
My favorite.
All right. So page 800, Luke 18. Everybody there? Garrett, you there?
What page is it?
Luke, page 800.
Oh.
800.
How many zeros is that?
2.
Okay.
3.
Nice.
Oh shoot, it's 3?
Boy, if you guys are in high school and you can't find 800, we're in trouble. Page 800. Come on, guys, you can get there. You can get there. Okay, you ready?
It's right in between 799 and 80.
There you go. Nice, Lorelei.
Oh, now, yeah, I see now.
Now you, oh, that 800. Yeah.
I thought you were talking about a different 8.
All right. You ready? Everybody there now? Everybody there on Luke 18?
800.
Use your voice. Tell me if you're there, because I can't see your. I can't see. Okay, good. All right. All right. Let's take a look at that. Who wants to read? You guys read out loud? Tyler, go for it.
So what?
Luke 18. Read verse 1 through verse 5.
One day Jesus told his disciples a story to show that they should always pray and never give up. There was a judge in a certain city, he said, who neither feared God nor cared about people. A widow of that city came to him repeatedly, saying, "Give me justice in this dispute with my enemy." The judge ignored her for a while, but finally he said to himself, "I don't fear God or care about people, but this woman is driving me crazy. I'm going to see that she gets justice because she is wearing me out with her constant requests."
All right. So does this judge sound like a nice guy?
No.
Yeah. This guy's a judge. Do you normally think of judges as being wise? I mean, if they're a judge, if you went to court, if you got a speeding ticket and you went to court, you would hope that the judge is going to be wise and kind, wouldn't you? You wouldn't want him to be a jerk. But this judge, what are some things we learn about the judge in this passage? What do we see? What does this say? Verse 2, there was a judge in a certain city, and he said, who neither feared God, this is Jesus speaking about this judge, who neither feared God nor cared about people. How'd you like to go to that judge to try to get justice or mercy in your traffic court?
It's like he doesn't even care for anybody that needs.
Right. Right. So this is an interesting dynamic about this parable. A lot of times we have, Jesus tells parables like, can you think of another parable that Jesus told? You know, a story that Jesus told to make a point that wasn't necessarily, he wasn't telling facts about something that actually happened, but he was telling a story to make a point. Can you think of any other parables that he told?
The pearl.
Okay.
Field.
The pearl of great price, right. Any other parables you can think of that Jesus told? Like
Faith of a mustard seed.
faith of a mustard seed. How about like the Good Samaritan? There's a parable. Or the prodigal son. Y'all know that story? Where the son leaves home and goes and spends all his money and dad welcomes him home. So these parables, he's still broke as all get out, but dad welcomes him home. This parable, those parables are illustrating behavior that Jesus is teaching us to want to do, like in the Good Samaritan, to help people. This one is showing us this judge who is the opposite of what God would want us to be doing. So it's like opposites day of parables. So he's telling us this story, showing us this judge who didn't fear God and he didn't care about people. So what does this lady do? What does this widow do?
Comes back each day.
A widow of that city, came to him repeatedly saying, "Give me justice in this dispute with my enemy." So just to think about context of what was going on there, this lady being a widow, she had no standing. You know what standing means? To have standing in a community, to be seen with any kind of respect in a community. She had none of that. But as a woman who now had no husband, she was nothing. and she probably was living either with her dad or with her son or sons. She had to have some kind of a connection to a man in order to have any kind of hope of being able to do anything in the community. And this was a terrible thing going on. This is not the way things should be. Jesus came and blew all that up. And so Jesus is illustrating right here that this judge, even this evil judge who didn't care anything about God, listened to this woman eventually. Because what did she do? What was it that she did with this judge?
Annoyed him.
Persisted.
Annoyed him.
She annoyed him. She was driving him crazy, it says, is what he said. She annoyed him. Now, she annoyed him because he was an evil judge. When you come to somebody in your life and you come to them to ask of a favor, and you know that that person cares about you and likes you, your parents, your youth pastor, your small group leader, and you know that those people actually do love you and do want what's best for you. How different is that than the way this lady had to come to this judge who was evil and didn't care anything about God, and yet she wore him down. You ever worn your parents down or worn down a teacher just because yeah. Look, we've got one looking back at Dad right now saying, worn him down.
Yeah, Dad.
My kids certainly have done that. So, do you think that the chances of someone who really likes you, loves you, cares for you, is going to respond to you is higher than what this judge was? Yeah. So this judge, being evil and not caring anything about God, was worn down by this lady. And so then it says, the judge ignored her for a while, but finally, just like you said, Anthony, he said, this woman is driving me crazy. So what does he do? I'm going to see that she gets justice because she is wearing me out with this constant request. He did the right thing. He didn't kick her out. He said, I'm going to make sure she gets justice. She gets what she's looking for because she's worn me down. And so point being, he doesn't care anything. He's worn down. How much more do people who care about us? Do you think God, okay, now let's think about, a lot of people in this parable make the mistake of thinking God is the judge. Do you think very many people in our world think God is just some judge who's just sitting up there just wanting to zap us when we do stuff wrong?
Yeah.
A lot of people see that, don't they? I hope you don't see it that way, because God is so loving that he sent his only son to die for us. So he's not sitting up on his throne and say, oh, Lorelai, look what she did, zing. Oh, there's Lake, Lake, I can't believe Lake said that, zing.
That's kind of how I was.
Garrett, there goes Garrett again, zing. God's not like that.
There goes Garrett. Ayo.
And aren't you glad God's not like that? That he's not sitting around just waiting for you to mess up so he can zing. So when these kids came together to pray, they were coming together to pray to God, to pray to the one that they knew loved Jessica, loved them, and wanted to connect with them. Do you ever feel disconnected from God? Do you ever feel like you're not really connected to God? I do too. Man, I sometimes I'll realize, you know what? I haven't read my Bible for a while. I really haven't prayed except, just pray for my meal in a while, and I just don't feel connected with God. Kane?
Sorry to interrupt, but
It's okay.
I kind of had a little image in my head, and I like putting little scenarios into it. So that picture actually put the picture into my head that when they're praying like that, like I said, prayer is that open direct line to God.
Mm-hmm.
And also Jesus says that he brings your prayers directly before God.
Yes.
So I say as well that when they're all praying like that, they're praying standing hand in hand before the throne of God, not budging until Jessica gets better.
Until we get an answer, until we see God move. And we're so blessed that we saw that answer. You know what? Even if Jessica had not been healed through that, this was an amazing connection that these kids had, these college kids had in that situation. We're blessed to see the healing that happened in her life and the miracle that took place. But you're exactly right. That's spot on. So today, we're saying connect with God daily through prayer. Let's say it with me. Connect with God daily through prayer. Connecting with God daily through prayer. We connect. There's lots of ways. What are some ways that we connect with God? Communion. Okay, good. Meditation.
Sinning. He'll come and help us.
Okay, that's an interesting way to see it, Lorelei. I like that. I mean, because
Your strategy.
God is I don't know that I would recommend it, but God cares. God cares about everything that we do. What about any Bible? Great. How did you ever get that hint, Tyler? The Bible, through His Word. Connecting with God. In fact, in this series, we're going to talk about some of those other things. We're going to talk about obedience, doing what God says to do. That's connecting with God. And we're also going to talk about studying His Word in a couple weeks. But right now we're talking prayer. So prayer, connecting with God daily through prayer. Let's say it again together. Ready? Connect with God daily through prayer. And so we've already looked at Luke 18. Now, this passage goes on to say, Jesus says, then the Lord said, learn a lesson from this unjust judge. Remember, this judge in this story is not a good judge. Even he rendered a just decision in the end. So don't you think God will surely give justice to His chosen people who cry out to Him day and night? And so realizing, and whenever you pray, keep going. In fact, some principles from this passage that I want you guys to grab onto. Let's take a look. This is Matthew 7:7, where Jesus says, "Keep on at." Well, let's read this together. You ready? I'm going to stand over here so you guys can see it. You ready? Let's read together. Keep on asking, and you will receive what you ask for. Keep on seeking, and you will find. Keep on knocking, and the door will be opened for you. So this persistence, this never giving up element of prayer. Keep on, keep on, keep on. Don't just, and I'm guilty of this as much as anybody. I'll say, God, somebody will ask me out here, hey, would you pray for me? I'm having surgery this Tuesday on my kidneys or whatever it is. And I'll say, oh yeah. Okay, God bless Fred with his kidney surgery. And then I move on and then I don't think about it anymore. But I could pray for Fred, maybe make a note. And on Tuesday when Fred's going through the surgery, I could pray again for Fred having his kidney surgery or whatever it might be. So use some tools that are available to you. Use your phone. I use my phone all the time I meet new people and I make a note in there that I met Fred and Ginger, and he's got a crew cut and she has blonde hair and they're both from Tallahassee, Florida. And so I make a note of that, so next time I see them, I'm like, oh, what were those people? Those are the people from Tallahassee. And I can go find it and say, oh, that's Fred and Ginger. Hey, Fred, Ginger. And so use those. Use these tools that we have for prompters to help you remember to do these things. I don't remember to do them. I got to have lists. I got to have stuff to remind me, and use my calendar for all that stuff. So then also in Matthew, this is Matthew chapter 6. Let's read together. Ready? When you pray, don't babble on and on as the Gentiles do. They think their prayers are answered merely by repeating their words again and again. So when we're talking about this persistence, this coming to God on a regular basis, we're not saying just recite some mantra, just babbling on with words that have no meaning, but being persistent in the prayer of coming back to God with your heart. It's okay to say the same words. God, please be with my friend Fred as he has his kidney surgery. I mean, I don't have to change those words and start, talking in Yoda talk or something and do everything backwards. I can still use those same words to remember that. And then here's the key. Remember this one. You can memorize this verse. Everybody can memorize this verse. You ready? 1 Thessalonians 5:17. Never stop praying. All right, can you read it? Can you remember it?
1 Thessalonians 5:17.
What is it?
Never stop praying.
Never stop praying. See, you memorized a verse today. You can go home, you can say, hey, I memorized a verse today. Never stop praying. 1 Thessalonians 5:17. What does it mean to never stop praying? Does it mean, Garrett, that's...
Dear God, it never stops.
But Garrett, okay, you're eating dinner. Are you praying as you're eating? Or as you're having a conversation with a friend, are you praying in that moment? Does it really mean that every moment of the day, our eyes are closed and our heads are bowed and we're praying all day long? Is that what that really means?
Absolutely.
All right, Anthony, so that's how you live. Well, the rest of us who have to look up and see what's going on, what does it mean? What do you think it means? What does it mean to you to think about never stop praying? Anybody? Kane, I'm going to come right back to you. I want to see if somebody else might have a response.
Don't forget about prayer as
Okay.
an option.
Okay, don't forget about prayer. Tyler?
When like something is like going on, you pray.
Okay.
Whenever you don't want to, just pray.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Lorelai?
Say, dear God, it never stops.
Okay.
If you like think anything, just go straight to him.
Okay. Real, yeah. Being aware. Like, who drives in here? Who has driver's licenses? You guys do. Okay. When you're learning to drive, one of the things you have to do is be aware of your surroundings. You have to keep your head up. You can't drive and stare at the dashboard and drive. You have to look up.
I'm
And-
still alive though, Steve.
Even though he stares and keeps his eyes closed all day long. But you have to be aware of what's going on. Being aware that God is right there with you and to be able to pray. And it doesn't have, do you have to pray? Do you have to stop and kneel and put your hands together and close your eyes to pray?
No.
No. It's a conversation with God. I think somebody earlier when we talked about what is prayer, someone said a conversation with God or communication with God. So when you're with a friend, you're just walking along with your friend, hanging out, and you just talk back and forth. You don't stop and say Lorelai or Lorelai and her buddy are watching a show, and Lorelai says, "Tell me what the name of one of your friends." Bridget. Lorelai said, "Dear Bridget, I am so thankful that you are my friend today. May I beseech you, and we have a conversation today as we discuss the challenges that we face at school." You know, that would be ridiculous, right? But she'd say,
Cool, now
"Bridget, what's up? What you doing? How's it going?" Lorelai knows something about Bridget because they have a relationship. And Bridget knows something about Lorelai, and so they have that communication and relationship. So we're getting close to out of time. I want to give you guys a chance to actually be praying for each other. I know you have these cards, and I want to encourage you to be praying for each other again. If you're not taking time to pray, what's keeping you from it? What's keeping you from it if you're not taking time to pray? And have you taken the time to connect with God? And so as we talked about today, Jesus said, this is in fact the memory verse for the series, "You're my friends if you do what I command." Jesus wants us to pray. This is from John chapter 15 where Jesus talks about being the vine. He's the vine and we're the branches connected to him. And we get our nourishment from him. So staying connected with him is how we receive that how we're built up. And so connecting with God daily through prayer. One more time, let's say it together. Ready? Connect with God daily through prayer. And so we talked about pray and never give up, pray with persistence, and then pray consistently. Keep at it. Keep doing it. Do you have, Erica said there were cards in here. Are these the cards? Where are the cards? Here's cards. All right. I want to encourage you. I know, Kane, you have a card that you got from someone last time, right?
I can do another one.
Yeah. Let me give you a different color this time. Give you guys, is this blue or purple? I can't really tell.
It's light blue.
Light blue. All right.
Yeah, I must be colorblind.
So write down, pass one to everybody, Lake, and write down a prayer request on your card. Also, be sure you are using your connection cards to share your prayer requests because the prayer team loves praying for you guys. They love praying for you guys. So please give us the opportunity. I'm part of that team on Mondays usually. And so they want to be praying for you. So please share those prayer requests. So put one prayer request on your card. And then you probably know the drill. I think you've done this before where you're going to pass it to the person to your right. And they're going to hang on to the card this week and be praying for you. So Lake, you'll pass to Kane, Kane to Lorelai, Lorelai to Anthony, Anthony to Garrett, Garrett to Tyler, Tyler to Lake. So you just, well, okay, clockwise. Let's do clockwise.
Oh, okay.
It's my left. You're right. Then it's your left. All right. Sorry, I turned my back on the camera. Cardinal sin. Yeah, so put that on there, and then you're going to pass them around, and we'll wrap up. Any questions? Anybody have any observations about any of this? It's a big topic. It's an important topic, and I can't emphasize enough leaning into God and truly, truly coming to Him in prayer. And with these cards, you have an opportunity, an excuse to come to God, because you can pray for the person whose card you have. Kane, what up?
Is there any indication in the New Testament where it says that Jesus experienced immense joy?
Joy? Sure. When he's with the little children, Jesus says, "Let the little children come to me," and he's receiving joy from being around those kids who are so enthusiastic. In Hebrews chapter 12, it says that it gave Jesus great joy to actually give his life for us. So he was joyful to be able to give us the opportunity to have a relationship with him, and that's in Hebrews 12. So yes, Jesus did experience. I think Jesus was really funny. Some of the parables that he tells, we don't really, when we read them in English, and he was speaking them in a different language 2,000 years ago, but the way he was kind of zinging the Pharisees of those days, he was really pretty funny. Like talking about somebody having a speck of their eye, and me seeing the little speck in your eye, but I've got this like giant baseball bat sticking out of my eye. That would have been, Jimmy Kimmel type stuff back in those days. So he was really, really funny, and the joy of the Lord is our strength. And so our joy comes from the Lord. So yes, Jesus did experience joy. So finish those up. Be sure you pass them to the person around you, and then hang on to those this week and be praying, all right? So, did everybody pass their card?
Not yet.
All right. I know we are. Okay, church is over. We're out of time. I want to pray for you guys. Remember, pray, never give up. Pray with persistence. Pray consistently. And what was the verse you learned today from 1 Thessalonians? Never stop.
1 Thessalonians 5:17. Never stop.
Never stop praying. Never stop praying, all right? Okay, God, thank you for this group today. Thank you for the opportunity to look at your word. Thank you for prayer. It's a gift that you've given us where we can connect with you. You are the God of the universe. You created everything, and yet you still want to connect with us. Thank you for that. In Jesus' name, I pray for your blessing over these students. In Jesus' name, amen. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me in.